We are BRAP. We are live, and it's Wednesday. We're gonna have a great show in store for everyone. We got Hustle and Motivate and One Bad Mother joining us this evening to talk about video games. We got a lot to talk about. You got Phil Spencer in the news discussing Game Pass. We have YouTube influencers and media finally received their PlayStation 5s and did some unboxing videos. We'll talk about that. And unfortunately, Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed again, so we'll talk about that as well. But let's get the show started right now. Welcome back to BRAP, everyone. On this beautiful Wednesday evening, it's Halloween this weekend, so trick or treat. And that's going to be interesting, by the way, Halloween this year with the whole pandemic. I think like my kids are going to like 3 houses and that's it. Yeah. So
are they like 3 neighbors that you absolutely know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But even then, it's just like, I mean, they could be having COVID and don't even know it at the same time.
Yeah, they could. Like, but they're gonna. My kids are gonna mask up. So they're gonna wear a mask under the mask. So
it's been Halloween all year.
Yeah, right. It has been Halloween all year. I feel like we're living in bizarro world right now. It's just. I was watching a Netflix special. Everything. What's it called? Everything is just fine with Sarah Cooper or something.
Yeah, that's
on
Netflix. Her new Netflix special. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So I actually went to high school with Sarah, she. I was watching that show, man. It's like I feel like it's funny. Like it's almost like supposed to be like a satire, right, on life, but it kind of really isn't, because as crazy as some of the things they're discussing there, like things that you would normally find comedy in, right? You think, wait a minute, like we're actually living this right now, and it's like, holy shit. It's wild. I definitely check it out. If you are I would say if you are a supporter of a certain individual, you may not want to watch. I don't know. Might get upset, but good show though. We lost OBM. He'll be hopefully be joining us back, but we do have returning guest Hustle and Motivate from the DMV. Love having DMV guests on BRAP. What's up, Hustle?
Hey. Thank you for having me back, Enrique. I definitely appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name Hustle and Motivate. As the world rotates and my name gets bigger, you can catch me every Saturday at 4 p.m. on the Scumcast with the Ash and Luca, Slow-Mo, and Forte. Whenever he's, decides to grace us with his presence. Forte, he's definitely a member, man. And thank you for having me. I just want to say to everybody who's been helping me in the community, like they know who they are, even with the writing professional who did this background for me. This is my icon on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube and my Twitch, and my Twitter rather. Hustle and Motivate is right there in the thing. I don't know if you got it in the description, Enrique, but it would be great if you could assist me, sir. I am on the road.
Sir. Yes,
to 1,000.
I definitely recommend that. Hustle's live streams are really good, a lot of fun, and just really entertaining, especially when Hustle was losing and he gets upset, and then he has to get back and revenge on everyone, and it's just hilarious. It's great fun.
I lose most of the time, so yes, I'm angry most of the time. But no, but
I'm glad you recognize it. You got anger issues, bro.
Thank y'all for having me again. I appreciate y'all.
No, absolutely, man. Like I said, it's great to be able to connect and have guests on that are in the DMV. I think that's really cool. There's some other members of the community that are from the DMV. Slow-Mo Backslap, You Hustle. Who else is the DMV? What's his name? Creative Kofi is in the DMV, and FC Violent, Yep, FC Violent.
I think the majority of that of the Vitamin G podcasts are DMV cats.
Are they DMV? Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah,
the majority of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always cool because like we've had OBJ the Don, he's he's for the DMV. It's just really cool, I think, to have gamers that are in the DMV. I just think that's really cool. So we have OBM, One Bad Mother, who OBM, everything okay on your end, man? You've been dropping in and out. Want to make sure you're good to go, sir.
I think I have the worst internet in podcasting, so I do apologize about that. But hey, thanks for having me on the show again this week. It's always absolutely a good time, man.
Absolutely, OBM. For those that don't know, I have known OBM for many years. We actually met on the OG Xbox back in the days, Xbox Live. Maybe might have been Mechasol, maybe Unreal Championship.
It was close. I mean, I was day one, you were beta, so I think we hit somewhere around the same time. And I think either way, we were bullshitting in the forums back in the day. So we were bullshitting before we ever hit the Xbox Live. So that was back in my more youthful, more exuberant, prior to kids wearing us down, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, tell me about it.
And apparently OBM is still using the same internet he had back then too.
Wow. He's on DSL right now.
Yeah, my AOL free trial expired. I had to renew.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Some of these kids probably don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
AOL free trials.
What is that? What is AOL? What is that?
Using your phone line for internet.
Why would anyone use their phone line?
Hey,
what does that mean?
Remember, Microsoft made us upgrade from the phone line.
Facts, yeah. We had to go broadband. That's why I went broadband. So I literally went broadband, upgraded my home internet to Comcast at the time, just so that I could get into the Xbox Live beta. Because they were like, "Do you have a broadband connection?" It was like the first question they asked you in the questionnaire. And so I was like, "Yep." And I play video games and all that fun stuff. So. But yeah, it's always great having you on OBM. Like I said, we go way back to the GameStop forum days when I was a moderator for the Xbox forum.
Yep.
Yeah, I used the console where I used to wave that green flag. Got into it with Greg Cassavin, the editor who at the time was like the senior or chief editor at GameSpot. I mixed it up with him a little bit because I didn't like his review about Metal Gear on Xbox. I thought he was being biased.
You were one of those. Oh man, Riga, you one of them.
Yeah, that's why.
We all were.
That's why you can smell them. You can sniff them out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
I was yelling right behind Enrique back then too.
OBM was there.
Right.
Yeah, OBM was like, "Oh, this." Yeah, we were. I mean, this is why. Eric, to your point, I can sniff them out, and I know that mentality because look. 17 years ago, I was there, man. I was
that youth and vigor. Now it's like, I'm tired as hell, man. I can't.
But these days, I tell you, after having kids, especially with all the shit going on in the world, I'm just too tired for that shit these days, man. And I think that's probably why I mellowed out. It's not so much maturity; it's just getting tired.
Yeah, for real. OBM, I'm telling you, like you sit there, you're like, let me go ahead and drop this little troll on Twitter. You're like, shit, man, it's 10 o'clock. Got to go to sleep.
I might have to answer a couple more tweets to delay my bedtime.
I'm telling you, because your shit will pop off 2 a.m. I've done it. Like my wife will, "Why's your phone buzzing?" And I look up, Twitter notifications. Yeah, yeah.
I'm trolling, baby.
I'm trolling, baby.
I got him. I got a good one.
I got him. Yeah, I got one.
I won.
Yeah. But no, you know what's funny though, OBM, is that seriously, true story. I did get into it with Greg Cassavin.
Yeah, I remember him.
He's now at Supergiant Games, and come full circle, Greg ended up being a special guest on BRAP. Remember that, Eric?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it came full circle, and it's funny. Like I used to interact with like Greg and Ryan from Giant Bomb. Because remember Ryan was at before Giant Bomb started. He was at GameSpot.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Yeah, he was one of the lead guys there too.
Yeah. So as a moderator, like we would have like behind the forums or behind the scenes, if you will, we'd have private DMs, and so like we were always talking to those guys and stuff. But I remember those days. Well, this is before console warring went on Twitter. We'd have to go in and like lock down threads. Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah. We got Eric Jackson. What's up, EJ?
Yo, chilling, man. Chilling. Happy to be here. Nice to have Hustle and Motivate with us and OBM. What's up, gentlemen?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's great to be on again with you, man.
Yeah, and I want to apologize in advance because we're heading into the the final stretch of the election, and I'm sorry that you guys are gonna be waiting for Florida to make up their damn mind about what they're gonna do.
Oh my God!
I promise you, if nothing else, we'll mess it up.
Don't mess it up this time.
No, hey, please do not.
Bro, man. we got Governor Quimby, man.
Yeah.
Quimby up in there.
I might say Mayor Quimby. Oh no.
Did he ever find that caravan?
Jason.
Yeah, man.
Eric, don't, man. I'm trying not to think about this, but yeah, let's hope.
Florida. Yeah, I don't want to get into the whole political thing. I just know how it's gonna go down. As all.
Just don't be messing up our console launch because you're still counting Chads and all that bullshit.
Yeah, right. I don't want to be Chads. I want to deal with next generation consoles the week after. I don't want to deal with Chads or anything else. Because I'm telling you, that happens, man. Florida should just become its own country. Give it back to the Spaniards.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not gonna. They're gonna be like, no. Hey, Spain, you want Florida back? No, senor. No más. No quiero.
Oh, man.
Va la chingada. No, they're gonna say that. Yeah. So, all right. We got Mr. Gaming Forte. What's up, Forte?
Nothing. Just taking it all in. Today's been a amazing day. Everybody, shout out to everybody that's happy out here in the world today. You got your boy Slow-Mo Backslap trying to take shots at me from nowhere, because your boy was just sitting here, just editing videos, and all of a sudden I got to respond to some nonsense on Twitter from my co-host.
Was it nonsense?
But
was it really?
But outside of it was nonsense because nobody asked your opinion. But outside, outside, because this conversation, this was a conversation that didn't even. I don't even know. I don't even know where this conversation came from. This is something we talked about 3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, reminding you about how wrong you were. But all of a sudden, this dude wants to put words in my mouth. All of a sudden,
they were your words.
Once again, Slow-Mo is always he's incomplete in the things that he talks about. He wants to talk about the things he think we all know he can't hear. We all know that. He don't understand.
Can't hear and you can't speak. So
remember what Gregor said. You learn math and all of the stuff that you know at school, at my school, when it comes to my classroom. And
yeah, he didn't say it like that. This is what we talk about, how you can't speak.
Yeah, listen. Your boy literally told you 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I challenge you to go find the footage. I challenge you to go do it, but you're not going to do it because we all know Slow-Mo Basso got better things to do to try to prove people wrong. Especially when he know he's wrong in the first place.
Ryan Landis say you gonna block me on Twitter. He already did, man.
I don't block people. There's no reason for me to block people because when you're right, you don't have to worry about being wrong. So L's. So listen, no L's were given today. Your boy Slow-Mo. You know what? I take that back. There was one. I take that back. There was one L because he got on my nerves so bad that I literally retweeted him and literally said ride instead of read. So you know what? He did get me there. So that's the L. That's the L.
He said, daggone well, you proofread that tweet. And I was like, read the tweet, what you didn't do.
So the funny thing is, me and my daughter were talking. So the funny thing, me and my daughter were talking about L's and stuff. Saying we don't take L's in this family. This family's all about W's. And then all of a sudden, I get home and I look at this tweet and I say, God damn it! This is what happens when you start talking mess and you don't proofread the stuff that comes out of your mouth. But for real, Slow-Mo. Your boy did say that at a point, Bruce did not have hair. At some point, they did not have hair.
What point?
Go back and look through the history of Halo, sir.
I looked through the history. They've always had hair.
No, they have not always had hair. Have you listened? Have you read the books? Have you been through the expanded universe where they explain what Bruce are?
I read.
I seem to remember the Brutes always having hair, but
Bruce not always. Okay, so
that's my memory of it. I don't know. What about the rest of the panel?
Yeah,
have the Brutes have always had hair?
I only play multiplayer, so I wouldn't know. Okay.
What about you? What about you, OBM? Because you're old school, like Xbox. So
I always assume they did, but even when you play the old games now, you really can't tell. Their faces are pretty muddy. Their faces. I think it's just a Brute thing.
It was a hairy blur. Okay.
This is slow-mo. This is slow-mo trying to be right.
Hairy blur.
This is slow-mo trying to be right, but whatever. It's fine, slow-mo. But your boy Forte's been good because he's been working. He's been moving. He's been collecting his Microsoft check at work. Moving all the stuff around, making sure that Microsoft is very prominently, has real estate in the front of his store. But outside of that, man, it's been blessed. It's a blessing to see so many people out here happy, and anybody that's out here mad because they didn't get something that they felt like they deserved. You ain't going about it the right way, brother. You ain't going about it the right way. That's all I'll say.
All right. Of that note, we have Slow-Mo Backslap live from the DMV as well. Slow-Mo, what is going on?
I'm good, man. How are you? I'm doing great over here, knowing what Brutes look like and knowing how to proofread things, and just like I'm just doing great. But no, seriously, I'll just mess around with Forte as usual. I've been doing good. Been kind of motivated this week with a lot of videos. I've been doing that drop 2 already. I don't know. Look, hey, look, y'all know what y'all
talk about this real quick.
Yeah, y'all know what. Let me finish what I'm about to say. Then we can get into that. Like I'm saying, like I was trying to do one video for every day, every weekday of the week. So like Monday to Friday. I would have had one out today if the Master Chief Collection would have worked right. I mean, seriously, I reinstalled it because I always uninstall it because I get bored. And I reinstalled it, and it crashed on me 6 times in 30 minutes. And I'm just like, bruh, I can't right now.
On Xbox.
Maybe I should have. I should have just played it on Xbox. But it was just, I'm sitting here on my PC as I'm doing video editing, and I'm just figured like, hey, why not just reinstall Master Chief Collection? It would install download faster on my PC compared to the Xbox, and then I can just go ahead, get some footage real quick, edit it up real nice, put it in the video. Nah, fam, not working. So I guess I'm not gonna have one out every day this week, but at least I'm gonna have it out tomorrow. At least I'll get something put together. But no, this whole Bugsnax thing, I need y'all to chill out, okay?
Yeah, where's the tweet at so I can retweet it?
What?
Oh, here it is right here. Slow-Mo has oh, okay, yeah. I'm about to retweet this whole Bugsnax thing. Get him to 1,000 subs. Slow-Mo has won every bet preventing him from playing Bugsnax. But if we get him to 1,000 YouTube subs, he'll play and stream Bugsnax. He lost the idea of playing this game. I am literally retweeting this, sir. I'm retweeting this. I'm gonna make a campaign video. You know what? That's actually might be the video for tomorrow. I'm gonna make
if y'all gonna make me video. If y'all want me to play this absolute dumpster juice of a game, y'all gonna make it worth my while, okay?
You know what though? Okay, we gotta. Okay, so this is the thing. If you hit 1,000 subs,
and I want super chats of support.
No. If you hit 1,000 subs before this game, because the game hits what? It hits plus win in February.
No. It's launched.
They made it a plus.
The one that's in February is that Destruction All Stars.
It's Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, but Bugsnax gonna be part of PlayStation Plus though now.
On day one.
Yeah, I think it's day one. Yeah,
day one. Yeah.
Oh shoot. So
they're moving. They're moving some games to like PlayStation Now or Plus, whatever it is. Yeah, like
and C4 that was it. Everyone was like, "Oh, hey, Slow-Mo, you don't even have to spend money on it now. Just play it." And I'm like,
"It ain't wrong."
By the way, real quick, I just
would have to pay me in order to get me to have to play that game. I mean,
first we got to get you a system.
Real quick, I just dropped a link for Slow-Mo's channel. Everyone go sub right now. Let's get to 1,000 tonight. Do it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's get. I want to see.
I'm not
Slow-mo has
far
been.
off, but like even that's comical.
If we get you to 800 tonight, would you do it?
No, I said
wait.
You saying negotiation?
Wait.
Negotiation.
Well, you
Slow-mo.
said you would now. You said you would never allow us to back you into a corner
Snap.
to do this.
Slow-mo.
Yo,
Gregor Vadu. He just said Forte is the final boss in Bug Snacks, appearing as a pair of edible panties with googly eyes.
Oh man,
Edible panties.
I'm a lose. I'm quitting. As soon as I go up against that's a pretty formidable boss. No, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
You're right.
He's gonna smack you with his panties.
That boss got 4 phases.
4 phases.
Oh my god! Each phase, a piece of underwear comes off. It's just like
No, you got to get through the. You got to get through the chocolate covered candy hearts that's on it first.
What?
You know,
One phase is flaccid, the other one's erect.
Oh my god! Time.
Listen.
Pause.
That's what it is.
No.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
No, that's a negative.
It's almost like Enrique. No.
I don't know about that.
That's negative.
Yeah, I don't know where this conversation went. So
You started.
How do you not know where this
You know
conversation
exactly
went?
how this
You
conversation
took it
started.
there.
I
You
don't
drove us
know.
directly into that
Gregor-
inappropriate ditch.
Gregor took us there first,
No,
And-
you. Never mind.
and I
Just continue.
elaborated.
Oh, you
Gregor
did
said
devi-
defeat
basically
Forte
you
to
didn't
unlock
deviate.
the intercourse trophy.
Centimeter inches.
So, oh my goodness! All right, somebody in the live chat said there's a lot of sexual tension between Slow-mo and Forte. So
I don't know what they're talking about.
I
Yeah,
know what
that-
they talk about. It's kind of true.
Forte's out of control.
It's kind of true, man. You
Let
know?
me change my
Listen,
name
I
to
love-
represent how I
listen,
feel right now.
I love that man. That tall drink of water. Love him.
Yo.
Wow.
I don't know what's happening here, and
I don't know either.
And my name says it all. Just pause.
I just want to say before we do get started, Forte, you and Slow-mo remind me of Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon from Partner Interrupting. I just
They really do. Yeah.
I just see something there that's a compliment. That's definitely
Man,
a
that's
compliment.
good.
It is. Like, I used to love. What was pardon the interruption?
Pardon the interruption.
Yeah.
Was that it? Was that
PTI,
No,
PTI.
Yeah. That show was great, man. That was a great show.
Yeah, were you thinking around the horn of the other thing, that which was trash?
Yeah, around the horn.
Don't do
was,
that. We're not gonna have that conversation now. We're not gonna
Which
have that
one? About
conversation.
around the horn?
Around the Horn is a pretty good show. Let's not do that.
It was
Not
a
do
pretty
that.
good show.
You know,
I like the show on ESPN with the guy is his dad that's on the show, the old guy.
yeah. I know
Oh,
what you're talking about. Yeah,
I'm talking about
His
yeah.
dad's funny. His dad's hilarious.
Oh,
His
his
dad's
dad-
funnier than him.
His dad is hilarious. His dad
Yeah,
said,
Poppy.
Poppy, yeah, his dad cracks me up.
Yeah.
But let's get into these topics.
I
So,
don't know, man. We could keep this sexual tension going. I mean, it seems
No,
like
we don't.
everybody-
Number one, what was that? PS5.
I mean, we could talk about how everybody loves the beard that Hustle has.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
talking
Can we
about all
not-
that.
okay.
I think Enrique's demographic is men 18 to 34. Can we not even touch on my parents? Can we not?
Man,
Hustle about to turn the space cam on.
Yeah, Hustle's about to
Yeah,
drop.
he tastes it.
I gotta go to work. Y'all see?
I gotta go to work.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the It Went Left podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Eric usually the voice of reason.
Yo,
Man, he here for the smoke too.
All right, let's get to a topic here. Phil Spencer was recently asked if Microsoft wants to have Game Pass on, or does he want to see it expanded to Nintendo and PlayStation platforms? And Phil Spencer's reply was, I think it's for us. I can't even read today. I think for us, it's all about priority and reaching more players. So we went to PC first after Xbox because there's just so many players there globally that don't own an Xbox that we could reach. That makes sense. We went to mobile next because there's 1 billion Android phones on the planet. It's a significantly larger than any console player base. We still have iOS to go after. We will come to iOS at some point. We're still working on some of our technology on PC for larger screens in terms of streaming and getting to iOS. And I think once we get to that, we look at what the other options are. There's smart TVs out there, which, Eric and We talked about this at DME. We've been talking about that for years now. Kind of an Xbox dongle device, which was kind of rumored more recently. There's smart TVs out there. There's Chromebooks out there. Fire TVs out there. There's a lot of discussions we would have. We would prioritize it based on where we find the most new players that we would naturally bring content to. I love the Switch. I love PlayStation. Honestly, I think they've done an amazing job as being part of this industry. I'm not sure that they're the next big set of users for us, but we would be open to those discussions. So, hustle and motivate. Does Phil Spencer want Game Pass on PlayStation 5?
PlayStation 5, PlayStation platforms, not right now. However, when we see the Switch and he says, you know, he has to dance around that, we're going to be clear, right? What came from Xbox over to the Switch? I know Ori is over there, right? I think both Ori over there from
Super Lucky still, Ori, Cuphead.
Yeah, okay. And the Halo
and, Minecraft.
Minecraft. Halo the Master Chief Collection was like a big rumor at one point. I even had jokes behind that. So the Switch, and this is probably why Nintendo is making a stronger Switch that's rumored to actually be dropping, I think, next year. Shout out to RGT85 for those videos. But yeah, it'll definitely come to the Switch. Like, I don't think there's a question in my mind. They'll probably give it about 2-3 years, but there's a question in my mind that you know, because Nintendo and Xbox have been working well together. Y'all remember those Minecraft commercials? Survived together, and then PlayStation came over. Was like, all right, I guess, but you know, they came over late and they came over finally. But no, Nintendo and Xbox, they're like this, son. They're like that. It's a wrap for the Nintendo. Now, I took a look at that article. Thank you for sending that to me, Enrique. The mobile market, if they can pull that off, then they won't need PlayStation. I saw a video from Inside Gaming. I don't know the gentleman's name. However, Alana Pierce was like sent that, but since she is like high risk for COVID, she couldn't go do it. So she sent one of her colleagues out, right? It's terrible outside, based off the internet and where this gentleman was. So if they can master that, like when that 5G rolls around, like that mobile market, it's going to be a wrap. Even if they don't get iPhone, you know how many more people have Android than iPhone? I'm not saying that one's superior over the other. We're not getting into that argument.
Yes, you are. Android is superior over iOS.
No, I have an iPhone, so I don't want to get into that argument. My point is
closed platform, open platform. Go ahead.
All right. You know what? Does my phone? Hold on. Does my phone crash? You know when I open apps?
I don't have that problem.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, look, we're not going there. But my point is this: they may not even need PlayStation if they can seriously get the mobile market on lock. Then they straight. Then they're not even gonna need PlayStation. Oh, also, they just made that purchase for Bethesda, right? Or for ZeniMax rather. They ain't worried about PlayStation. You won't see. I guarantee you won't see no Bethesda games, or you won't see like Doom. You won't see none of that over there on PlayStation. They say it's a quote unquote case by case basis, right? Nah. Here's the case. It's open and shut. It's over for PlayStation getting those games. Dishonored 2, Evil Within, Doom. It's over. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's over. Unless those games are underperforming, it's a wrap. Because they don't even need to do that. Like I think I read an interview somewhere else where Phil Spencer was like, "Yo, Mo ain't gotta do that. We're gonna make all our bread back in no time." Just off of Game Pass. I think a lot of people put a video out about that as well. So I mean, you know, they probably won't go to PlayStation. Unless, like, you know what's gonna have to happen? They're going to have to put Xbox Live. They're going to have to put that in Game Pass and all that. They're going to have to put that on PlayStation in order for that to happen. And I don't see that happening whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you also see it not happening because PlayStation would allow it too? I mean, you know, you think that PlayStation would allow that though? Would allow Game Pass?
PlayStation would have to be in dire straits.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Never say never though. Never say never.
I mean, I don't see it happening for multiple reasons, but mostly not due to Microsoft not wanting it to happen, but essentially Sony doesn't want it to happen, and neither does Nintendo, because they really, much less Nintendo, because Nintendo isn't really in that lane of having a potential competing service like PS Now with PlayStation. But the only way you would see Game Pass on a PlayStation is if PS Now is dead and gone, because putting it on there completely destroys what PS Now has. And plus, if you look at like
not necessarily,
why would anyone have PS Now when you can have Game Pass?
Because Game Pass, the Game Pass that's going to be on PS4 wouldn't be the same Game Pass that's available everywhere else.
How do you know that?
Well, I'm just saying that, first of all, Sony wouldn't let Game Pass on their system in the form that it's on, just like Game Pass on PC is slightly different than it is from console. There's certain games that are on the console side that aren't on the PC side, and vice versa. If those games
that's not because of
I'm just saying,
that's because that was a choice. That was because those games weren't already in the Windows Store on PC for them to be able to get.
With you on that. I'm just saying Game Pass could be on PlayStation with PlayStation Online, PlayStation Now still being a thing, because Game Pass on PlayStation would just consist of the Xbox games. It wouldn't be that all encompassing service like it is right now. You won't get all those third party games and stuff like that. You might get you wouldn't get EA and stuff.
They still wouldn't allow that. They still wouldn't allow it because Sony,
you don't.
This
but
would
you
be
but
them helping their competition.
You can't. You don't. Well, we also didn't think a lot of stuff was going to happen when it came to helping competition, but Minecraft and stuff is still there. They didn't want to.
Minecraft was there prior to.
But they also
acquisition.
Remember, Slow-Mo. They also stopped. They also stopped all the updates for it because PlayStation didn't want to allow the update for all the people to play together when it came to Minecraft.
That's a completely different story. When you already had something, it's a completely different story when you already had something, and then you lose it versus you never had it. And you don't want to push for your competition.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, like I've been telling everybody, don't deal in absolutions when it comes to stuff like this because you don't know. No one knows. I'm just telling you it can happen. I'm not saying it is going to happen or it's not going to happen. I'm just telling you this is a situation that is very fluid. And trust me, if Xbox can put this on their platform and they can get a deal where it's only the Xbox games on there, this can definitely happen.
Why has that not already been proposed? And why hasn't Sony accepted it?
No, just because of right now, Sony's in the driver's seat. They don't have to do anything. A lot of the stuff that's going on right now has something to do with the fact that
what industry dynamic has to change for Sony to say yes to this?
When their pockets start hurting, just like it did when it came to the whole
Sony's pockets hurting on PlayStation.
Listen. Why you? Let's be for real. Let's be for real. Why did Fortnite get that deal? Why did they end up allowing that to be cross play?
Fortnite is in a completely different situation than Microsoft is.
If it gets to a point where people are literally buying other systems, like people are literally going to the other side because of some of these games are only available on another competing platform, and the option is there for you to keep those people in your ecosystem and not let them go buy games somewhere else, that will probably end up being the key. But sitting up here and saying it can never happen is crazy.
Putting Game Pass on PlayStation is putting those games in their ecosystem, is putting your people
and that's
in their
why
ecosystem.
And that's why I'm saying
because they're going to have to get Xbox Live accounts. They're going to have to sign into Xbox Live on a PlayStation. So that's not fine for Sony. You say that's fine, but you're not Sony, and Sony clearly is not cool with that.
And I'm taking revenue from every time that somebody logs in on that system and does anything on it. So
all right, real quick, guys, I gotta get a super chat. Then I want to go to OBM, get his thoughts on this, and Eric's thoughts as well. John Ent with the $5 super chat. Thank you, John. Says much love to you guys and all you do. Thank you. I really appreciate that. OBM.
Yes, sir.
You've had a lot to say about cloud technology, Microsoft, game streaming. You've had some great insight, I think, on this particular topic. What are your thoughts on this, man? Do you think you see a situation where Nintendo or Sony will allow Game Pass on their platforms? And then, Phil talked about TVs, Google Chromecast, things like that.
Yeah.
I could see Game Pass being on maybe some devices like that, or maybe an Xbox dongle type device, like a Fire Stick. We know about partnerships with Samsung. Do you think Sony would even? It's a long-winded question to you, Borbia, but do you think even Sony?
I'm letting you answer it for me since I already
Yeah, but do you think Sony would even allow Game Pass on their TVs? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so honestly, like you have to step back and think about where the industry is going and how you're going to define this stuff going forward. Because I think a lot of people, when they look at it, like they look at it sort of like how we've always looked at gaming. And you say, are they going to allow Game Pass on the PlayStation? I think that's like kind of a wrong-ish question because, first of all, I don't see Microsoft ever developing for the PlayStation. It's a lot of money. They're already going to have that stuff available in the cloud. So I don't know that it makes sense from that standpoint. But the thing is like I've been telling people this too, that our PlayStation guys, they're getting a little bit upset about some of these buyouts and stuff like that. Is a lot of this stuff is, you really got to just think about it. If you buy a PlayStation 5, next week or whatever, in a couple weeks, you're going to have everything you need to Game Pass, including the controller, right? Like basically, anybody with a halfway decent internet is going to be able to access it in a couple years. And we just saw like this week they talked about the Starlink, the stuff that what's his face is putting up in space, where basically it's going to cover rural areas and it's 20 millisecond latency, and they're like going to get it down to 10. At that point, for a secondary console, or even for a casual gamer that's not really in tune with like performance, that's going to be good enough gaming. If you can get a 10 millisecond latency without a lot of packet loss and things like that in there, you're going to have a decent experience. Right now, what we're seeing is like 10 times higher than that, and people can still kind of game on it, So we're only a few years away from that between the 5G and everything else. So I think it's just a matter of time. With Nintendo's device, I could see them trying to build in some controls there. I guess you could ask the question a couple months ago: would you see it more likely that Microsoft would be on Nintendo, or that GameStop would actually be pushing the thing that's going to put them out of business, right? And so if they could figure out how to make GameStop want to push Game Pass, there's probably some business deal in there for them to say, hey, if somebody signs up for an app through the Switch, you're going to get a piece of this pie. And I think a lot of it's just going to depend on how big it gets. But yeah, absolutely. I can see that streaming through Switch. You don't really need to stream through the PlayStation because it already uses a PlayStation controller now. So
yeah, no, those are all great points, man. Eric, what are your thoughts on this, man?
If I can play I'll play the devil's advocate, because I've seen like different takes on this, and it kind of seems like people don't ask or mention the one question as to why this is even like a conversation.
Tell him.
Playing devil's advocate. Playing devil's advocate, it's like, why are people even asking the question about what Phil may want to or may not want to do, right? Why are we going against the nature of everything that this man has laid out, where he sees things going? People keep saying, well, you don't spend $7.5 billion acquiring these studios to put your stuff on other platforms. It's like, Phil, the only reason people question this is because Phil has talked openly about not liking to keep things away from other gamers, right? And I hear people say, well, if this was Sony, you wouldn't even be saying that. Well, yeah, because Sony has never once shown any interest in putting their stuff anywhere else. Phil has talked about this. That is the only reason that this conversation happens.
Yep.
Why is everybody going against the grain about what Phil? You don't know what Phil may do.
Yeah.
When Phil says case by case, I take Phil at his word, case by case, until Phil shows something different, right? But all of a sudden, people are like, well, they spend this kind of money, and yeah, you're never going to see these games over here. And the only reason I say that may not be the case is none of these games from Bethesda lit the world on fire, right?
So not recently, at least.
No, I mean, I'm talking as a fan. I'm a huge fan of Dishonored. I'm a huge fan of Doom. I'm a huge fan of all these games. But why is everybody capping like they're all of a sudden like these super Bethesda fans? Because those games have always been available and very cheap, and they still never moved the needle.
That's true.
So you throw them in Game Pass. Why are people acting like those games are all of a sudden going to light Game Pass on fire? You've had opportunities to play Dishonored 2 in Game Pass.
Eric, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's because Game Pass is what, $10, $15, and you have something as great as Doom Eternal, allegedly, because I haven't played it yet. But if you have something on that level to play for next to nothing, for pennies out the year, right? Then why wouldn't you be excited for that?
Hustle. Question: how come you haven't played Doom Eternal yet?
Yeah, I just don't feel like it. I'm gonna be honest with you. You've not been playing Fall Guys.
You didn't feel like buying it when it came out earlier this year, and it's been in Game Pass since October 1st, and you still haven't played it.
I don't have that.
I'm not coming at you.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that when people aren't interested in their games, and clearly a lot of people haven't been interested in what Bethesda has been offering, because there's a lot of people who feel like you. Hey, I heard that's a pretty good game. I heard that's a pretty quality game. I still ain't played it yet, though. I'm with you. I haven't played Doom Eternal yet either. I really don't plan on it because Doom. I don't care. I don't care about Doom Eternal. I just don't.
Well,
I'm gonna be real slow-mo. I hear people always hyping up Game Pass, but I never see it. I'm talking about the bubble. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about the bubble. I see all this. And Game Pass is the best value. What are you playing on Game Pass right now? Well, you don't ever see what people are listing and what they're playing and talking. I'm not saying Game Pass isn't great.
Nada. They're playing nada on Game Pass.
Like I said, I love these games, but I know for a fact Bethesda's got a lot of work to do to really move that needle. So people keep hyping this up, and I'm like, it's a great move. It could definitely prove valuable. I look forward to what they may have new coming, because people keep acting like they want to do the list wars. They got Dishonored. They got Doom. Where were you when those games dropped? If they want to you would have grabbed them then. Now, the reason I say this too, I've seen this other argument is, Microsoft doesn't need Sony, which is okay, whatever. Sony's minuscule in the grand scheme. That will prove true when you start to see the numbers on what it may do on mobile. We haven't seen that yet. So I guarantee you, if tomorrow Sony's like, hey, Phil, let's talk a little bit about this Game Pass on Sony. He's not going to go walk over there and talk to him?
Of course.
Because why? Sony gamers also have phones that they would want to access Game Pass on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play devil's advocate to the devil's advocates.
Go ahead, Lucifer.
Oh, no.
So I come from a data and analytics background. I think I told you guys that before. So like the thing I always like to look at is the numbers. Obviously, like when you look at just who and things like that, you can get really skewed really easily because a lot of times we get the confirmation bias, or all our friends kind of have similar tastes. But the things that stood out to me recently, there's three numbers that stood out to me recently. Tecmo announced with Neo 2 that they sold over 1 million on the PS4, and we know that PlayStation has a huge user base, over 100 million, 115 million or so. And then we heard recently that Battletoads and Wasteland 3 had over 1 million players. Now, I understand players isn't sales, right? And that's a lot of the thing that a lot of the base likes to go to. But I would argue that when it comes to the value of an IP, awareness and engagement and mind share is more important than actual sales. And that's why a game like Fortnite is so damn valuable right now, even though it's a free game. So I think the thing people are underestimating, we've seen that impact where Game Pass just came out of beta on PC not long ago, and it's still shit in terms of the Microsoft Store. We know there's a lot of issues and a lot of people won't use it because of that. We discussed that earlier, Slow-mo. And we know that that right now it's at 15 million, and it's been growing at a steady pace. When you look at the way these subscriptions and things trend, it's not out of the realm that in 3 years Microsoft's over 50 million with Game Pass. So if they're getting 1 million engagement on Battletoads with no marketing for a little niche game today, what does that mean for Dishonored? And again, I go back to what Neo 2 scored really, really well, and Tecmo was happy with the sales, and it had 1 million people play it. So I think people underestimate the impact that Game Pass is going to have on building the mind share of Microsoft's IPs. And that does have a cyclical thing where now more people want to jump in Game Pass. And then it's the same thing that happens with Netflix. If you study how Netflix works and why they don't market much, that's one of the reasons. They got so many people in there, they release what is it, Bird Box, and everybody's fucking talking about it at work the next week, right? And then more people want to get into Netflix.
Yeah, word of mouth.
Yeah, and so there's a cycle to that. So I think that's the real value to those IPs. So I guess I wanted to devil's advocate that because I think that it's Game Pass isn't going to make bad games sell well. We saw it didn't do shit for Crackdown, but it will. If there is quality in there, people are going to find it, and they're going to build, cult followings because there's no risk, and cost is always a barrier for people trying stuff, and you see that with the free-to-play games.
Yeah, I mean, look, that is true. That Game Pass does have gems in there, and there are going to be games that are hopefully first party that are going to go in there that people are really going to really enjoy, like the Outer Worlds last year. That was a game that was really, really good, launched in Game Pass. Hopefully more of the first party from Xbox Game Studios will do that. But when it comes to, like, I think what we were originally talking about with Bethesda and what I think Eric was really talking about was really the capping that's been going on in regard to them, because like we see people. I'm not trying to call anybody out, so don't like no one.
Yeah, you are.
I know where you're going, nobody out. Okay?
So you said it my way.
I am not. You know where I'm going with this, but what I'm saying is that people have been like, ever since the acquisition happened, and look, I'm not dismissing the acquisition. It's an amazing acquisition. It's what we said they needed to get. They wanted to have a AAA game come out once a quarter. We said you gotta have a minimum 20 studios to do that. They went and got a minimum 20 studios, so they did what they had to do. But that said, just because they did what they had to do doesn't mean that it elevates Bethesda to be more than what they already are right now. Like, Bethesda is still Bethesda. They even said it. We still doing things our way. Even after this acquisition, they still gonna be doing things their way. Just that Microsoft cuts the checks. Our games only go where they say they're gonna go, but we got a little bit more cash flow.
Yeah.
Now, all that said, like, that doesn't change the fact that people was out here like, yo, Bethesda games suck. They trash. They all trash. They buggy garbage. Why is it that the combat in Elder Scrolls hasn't evolved since Morrowind? What's going on here? Fallout stories don't make any sense. Why? What's the purpose of these games? These big old sandboxes with ugly ham-faced characters. Look, all this stuff
Subway
is
meat
accurate and said about Bethesda games.
Look,
only the games they publish are any good, and those games don't even sell.
Look, man,
so it's like a niche thing.
Listen,
so like it's none of that stuff changes.
It still doesn't change.
Microsoft
the girl
acquired
just looks better now that you're taking her to the prom.
No, she doesn't look better. She doesn't look better.
No. I'm not saying she does.
Makeup on the ugly chick.
Listen, to these people, the girl looks better now because he's taking her to the prom.
No, she don't. No, she don't.
That's the only thing. It is. It's literally the difference. Dude, people are doing that because it is something that they have to represent now. That's it. Yeah. That's the only reason they're doing it.
Hey, real quick,
I want to say real quick. I just want to say, Audible Gamers, he's spitting some facts over in the chat. But I just wanted to say to him, I did say the bubble because if a couple shows back, I mentioned that I've been talking to a lot of people, like family, friends, and everything outside of this Twitter bubble, and you'd be amazed at what they talk about and what they know and what they don't know, what they care about, what they don't care about when it comes to gaming. So you're on to it with that. I'm talking about specifically in this case the bubble. But there's definitely people who may find these games outside of it in the Game Pass, ecosystem. So I agree with you.
Some of the live chat said that the creation engine should never exist. Those are facts. That's a terrible engine. That's
the recreation engine.
Yeah,
and look,
be recreated.
If we want to talk about outside this bubble, that's true. There are people like we are hardcore gamers, so there are things that we discuss and talk about that we just know as just typical fact that every gamer should know. But really, honestly, you mentioned it to someone who's just a casual gamer. Oh, I just play Call of Duty once a year. I just play 2K all year long, and then get the next one next year. That kind of gamer is like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that is. Now, that's the kind of gamer that Microsoft absolutely wants to get Game Pass, because there are people who, like, when we look at Game Pass, we see a bunch of games we already own having our backlog and feel like, I'm gonna play that eventually, but I don't need to play it right now, right? They see games in Game Pass, they're like, oh, what's that? What's this? What's that? And it's like AAA mainstream stuff that was like just came out like 6 months ago. Now it's in Game Pass. They see it, they don't even know where it is. Now, the flip side of that, and this is outside the bubble, right? The flip side of that is that they don't know what it is. So they don't see. We look at that like, yo, you should play that. That game's awesome. That game's heat. Devil May Cry 5's in Game Pass now. Get on that. And they're like, Devil May Cry 5. Huh? I think I remember a Devil May Cry from back in the day. Yeah. I guess. All right. What else is in here? They don't see what we see because they're not hardcore gamers. So although it's quality and they should definitely jump on it because they haven't experienced it, they don't see the value of it the way we see it.
No, Slow-mo, that's a great point. And I'll add to this, if for them to see that value, much the same way that you want to get these, casuals to buy your console. That's why first party is so important. If you go back to the original OG Xbox, one game literally put that console on the map, and that's Halo. So Microsoft really needs that big AAA banger, that must-have killer app in Game Pass to get to those people, to get a lot of those people that you're talking about.
Well, I think it's more of the excitement of people talking about it, and then the casual base follows.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do. Like you're not wrong in what you're saying, but I do, because I think having something that Xbox can say that is going to drive the hardcore base to want to talk about it even more than they talk about it now. That's what the goal should be. When you think about PlayStation, a hardcore base they're going to talk about Demon Souls and Spider-Man, and that's what you hear right now. Those people get excited for those games, and the people and their friends get excited for them because they hear their friends talking about them all the time. Yep. The difference is Xbox doesn't have that right now. But ultimately, what's going to happen is, once critical mass happens and people are just talking about Xbox a lot, then these conversations around Game Pass and stuff will bring those people to the ecosystem. Because let's be for real, exclusive games don't matter to casual people. That's the one thing people don't really realize. It doesn't drive the metric when it comes to the casual fan base. The casual fan base goes where all the third-party games go, and it happens.
That's not true.
No, and it happens off of the backs of what the hardcore fan base does. You have all of these people, like these big YouTubers or something, that love certain games, and when they find out that their favorite YouTuber is going to a particular platform for something that's exclusive to that system, then they have a very big way of swaying those people over there. It has nothing to do with the first party when it comes to that. First party just gets the ball rolling. It gets people interested in the ecosystem. Then it's up to the hardcore to basically sell it off to the casual base, and third party games do that in droves after that. So it's
I don't question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think casual gamers know about Insomniac Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but they only sold 15 million. So what does that tell you?
Okay. No. Wait. Okay. Let me chime in real quick. Let me chime in this because I hear that argument like, they only sold 15 million.
They sold 15 million. So what does that tell you?
Name a single Xbox game that only
I can tell you right now,
million.
just because Halo sold 13 million. Wait, hold on. I don't even consider Xbox like the biggest. The reason Xbox 360 did as well as it did is because Call of Duty had all the stuff exclusive to the system. Halo being
that's not entirely true.
13 million.
That's not entirely true.
Halo 3 sold 13 million copies.
And that's
13 million. And that wasn't even a quarter of what they had.
Forte. That's not the point. Isn't that they like you? I see people like say this. Oh well, Spider-Man only sold 15 million copies, so not a lot of people are playing it. Yeah, but a lot of people are playing it. That game outsold third-party games that are on multiple systems by a large margin.
But did it outsell the ones that brung people to the platform?
Listen, it hit Call of Duty numbers for the PlayStation platform, and it's only on one platform. I mean, you can't downplay the importance of first party. Yes, I agree with you, Forte, that influencers have an impact on people, but how many casual people are actually following influencers? Most of the people that are on YouTube following all these people are casual people. Let's be for real.
I'd say anytime you get over 10 million, it does greatly impact your brand. And that was one of the things Peter Moore used to say. Remember when he used to say, like, hey, first to 10 million wins? I don't think that applies anymore to consoles necessarily, but I do think the reason why 10 million was always like this tipping point in mind share. Anytime you saw like a game or anything get that kind of engagement, it becomes like a second, like everybody knows what you're talking about. Like even if I don't play Halo, I know what Halo is. Even if I don't play Spider-Man, I understand. I know it exists. And it does actually help the brand a lot. So even people oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say
it helps the brand. It just doesn't tell you have to go out and buy the system to. You may know about it, but you don't go out and buy it.
But the reality is to say that first party games don't have this, like, to downplay the impact.
No, I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying the level that you guys say it really impacts 115 million people is the number I'm saying. Forte. It doesn't impact the number as much as you think it does. It impacts the number, but not as much as people cap for it to do.
We have an example more recently of a game that put Xbox on the map. One game, Halo.
Okay, yeah,
one game.
But we're also talking about you're launching.
Oh wait, let me finish. Look at Nintendo.
It wasn't.
Let me finish. Look at Nintendo.
Go ahead.
Look at Nintendo. Nintendo is known for what? What franchise put Nintendo on the map?
But
Mario.
You're also taking stuff from 2000 and all the way back to 1995 to 2000, where things are completely different. Like literally, all that stuff is different now.
The only thing that's changed is that we've evolved from hardware per se to services. But what? No,
not even the services. Not even the services. Just the way that people consume their media and stuff. Like when you used to how did you find out about Halo? I used to read the people that were super into this stuff were more informed then than they are now. You had to go out of your way to find out stuff about these systems back then. You had to be into the stuff to find out about that stuff back then.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't agree with that first party isn't like a driving force.
I see you keep saying that they're not a drive. I say they are a drive. They're just like if the first party, like you will probably say first party is 70% of the driving force of why people buy a PlayStation.
You said 15 million wasn't big. You said
no, I didn't say 15 million wasn't big. I just said 15 million isn't the largest of the player base. That's all I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is,
zero games sell the majority. Like the player base is over 120 million. Is there a single game on PlayStation that sold 100 million?
And Xbox had 83 million and only sold 13
of that statement. That statement doesn't make any sense because there are no games on PlayStation that actually sell the majority of the actual player base. It's a non-starter statement because it doesn't mean anything for any platform. The only game that sold well more than that is like Breath of the Wild on Nintendo. That's a game that came out at the launch of the console.
And this is coming
when
from
it was starting at zero, not where it's at right now.
And
Breath of the Wild came out right now. You can let me finish my statement before you start talking. This is why you're not hearing anything I'm saying because you're not listening to me. So as I'm saying, when a game comes out at the end of the life cycle of the console, of course it's not going to sell the majority of the actual consoles that were sold. It already came out when the PlayStation 4 was at 90 million and it pushed it beyond 100.
Okay.
So what are you talking about? Whereas like
there is a correlation, by the way. There is a correlation. You look at MPD numbers between quality first party titles that release and the impact that those releases have on new consoles sold. Like that's a thing, you know. And
I agree. But the majority of the people that bought the platform didn't buy it for that game, and that's all I'm saying.
I think the last time Xbox won the NPDs was like when they released Gears
when they released
4.
when they released the S.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think they were running the commercial. No, I think to answer the question, when it comes to the value of IPs, like I think the smaller IPs help people stick in the ecosystems, but it's really the tentpole ones. I think people undervalue the tentpole IP, like you're the superstar in your basketball team, and then they overvalue all the all-stars, right? It's like really those games that get the 10 million plus engagement, that's the ones that everybody hears about. Those do drive sales, and they define you. They define your platform, and that's one of the things that Microsoft needs to work on. But I would say that quality good games like Sunset Overdrive, games like that maybe just sold 1 million or less, don't really do much for your brand. And I think that, again, that goes back. I think I'm totally lost what topic we're on.
No, you're good. I just think overall, the majority, like the exclusives do what they need to do at the beginning of a generation to get the hardcore fan base engaged in it. And then once the hardcore fan base starts talking about the things they enjoy, and think about that's why a lot of people went over, outside of what Xbox did to themselves back in 2013. A lot of people, once their friends went over to PlayStation, it was just a domino effect. And that was the main reason that it happened. But outside of that, the games are going to keep you there. That's the one thing I always keep telling people. Xbox didn't give people a reason to buy an Xbox this year because they had everything they needed on PlayStation. If Xbox would have gave people a reason to buy an Xbox, they would have done it, because that's kind of how casual games work when it comes to stuff like that. If they would have got some type of way to get exclusive rights for Call of Duty to come back, those people that play nothing but Call of Duty would have ended up buying Xboxes. They would have had both systems at that point, because people buy games for things just like that. Xbox didn't do a good job of that throughout the generation. So ultimately, it really just comes down to get, like we always say, Xbox, we said at the beginning of this, like towards the middle of the generation, Xbox has lost touch with their hardcore fan base. That's why it's such a divide when it comes to the Xbox community. And that's also why a lot of people on the PlayStation community have stood together, because PlayStation has had nothing but bangers for them through this whole generation. So they have no reason to like fight or be disdained with each other at all, because they're eating their cake and everything at one point. Xbox needs to work on that. But it really just truly comes down to who is going to give you the best experience at the beginning of the generation. And that's why I said PlayStation is more than likely going to destroy Xbox in sales, but Xbox is definitely going to make a comeback, and they're going to sell probably more systems than they sold this previous generation due to the way that they're going about the business going forward. But it's only going to take time to see. I mean, only time will tell. Get your super chat, Enrique.
I get my super chat. No, great points all around, by the way. Great points all around. So Victor Alstein with the $5 super chat says, since the ZeniMax, thank you for the super chat, by the way, Victor, says, since the ZeniMax acquisition engagement has grown for Bethesda, heck, I even went and tried most of the games. Game Pass definitely has helped Bethesda fame. Thank you for that super chat.
In the one thing, let's see, this is the thing that Xbox needs to do. And before I let it go, Xbox is trying to get those people, and you guys probably don't, I mean, you probably know. Do you know that person that just walks in the game store and looks at the wall? They'll come in like once or twice, maybe 3 times a week. You don't even know. There's nothing you really want, but something's drawing you to go to the store to see what's available because you bored as hell of the shit you playing. Let's be for real. That's the gamer that Xbox is trying to get right now. They're trying to get that person that has all the games that they want to play, but for some reason, they're bored. And they come into my store and they look at my Xbox wall like, yo, what's the next good game coming out? Because nothing on the wall is kind of interesting to them. And at that point, you're thinking about a transaction that needs to happen in a store. You have to physically buy this item and take it home. If you can get people that are in that mindset to want to get into Game Pass, then when they load in, they look at it, it's like, yo, I could just download this game and play it. And then that's where that number jumps up, like One Bad was talking about. That's when you get to that 50 million subscribers, because now you're getting the people that just want to try games. Because right now, those people still go into stores looking to see what's the next thing they could buy, even knowing they may not be interested on anything on the wall because they don't want to buy it.
I just want to say this real quick. Forte, I agree with you. A lot of people, like, because I tell people, on certain jobs that I work on, like, hey, I do the gaming thing on YouTube, blase. You'd be surprised, because I'm very surprised on how many people don't know who Ellie is from The Last of Us. They don't even know The Last of Us is a game. I'm talking about part 1. They don't even know what that is. So the casuals, yes, they will buy their Call of Duty, their Madden, their 2K. I just want to say that.
That's it.
That's why I agree with you. That's why I agree with them. I agree with them, man.
Yeah,
but I also disagree in terms of
Oh, I know.
I don't know if you made 15 million seem like a small number. Maybe that's
no. 15 million is definitely not a small number. It's just in comparison to the number that's actually out there. You can't cap and say 15 million is not a big number.
No one's capping but you.
I'm not capping on 15 million. That's why
I already
contrasted.
explained this.
Listen, I'm a equal. Good God, equal opportunity slasher when it comes to that. That's why I threw. That's why I threw Halo out there too. Halo had 13 million systems on 83 million systems. So
something put their life on.
Okay, so you brought up Halo. Which Halo were you bringing up?
Halo 3. Well, it was
Halo 3.
Between 11 and 13 million, somewhere in that number.
So Matt Piscatella once clarified for this to me. He said if you sell, I think 7% of the install base on a first party game, that's very successful.
Yeah, you're winning.
Yeah, it's really successful.
You're winning.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you are just trying to cast a bigger net so you get more numbers. Like, I think there's this mistake people make of thinking like Microsoft's got to figure out how to get all 50 million people that bought an Xbox One to get Game Pass. That's not how it works. And like, it's probably a different show, and you probably kick me up if I went through the whole thing. But Nadella came from he's actually close to the guy that runs Netflix, and when he talks about the Netflix of gaming, like that is really what he's not talking Netflix like he's talking about really going on that trajectory over like the next 10 years, and it's really all about where it's trending, because that's going to pull everything else. Like, I think we keep looking at the console as like the horse, because it's always been that way for AAA gaming, for at least if you're not on PC. And I don't really think that model is going to apply that much anymore. They're using Game Pass and going to say, hey, you can get into it through your TV, through your, through a streaming stick, through your phone, your PC, whatever. And like, this console is just an option, and it's just about every time as long as they're trending it upwards, it's going to kind of build on itself. It's going to build the value of the IP. So, but I do think that, Microsoft needs tent poles in there. It's nice to have nice games that enthusiasts find, fun. But if it doesn't hit those big numbers and engagement, it's not really going to drive the brand. So that's why they had to buy, Bethesda does come with, it does come with Elder Scrolls and Fallout. And I think those were, those were absolutely a huge part of why they did it.
Yeah, and that's why I think Xbox is not going to put those games on PlayStation until, like, unless you can say Game Pass is going to be on those systems. That's the only way, because Xbox, the games aren't the exclusives anymore to Xbox. The service is. Game Pass is Xbox's exclusive. That's what that's what's going to push the narrative for them going forward. If you don't want Game Pass on your platform, then you don't get Microsoft's exclusive, because their exclusive is Game Pass.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Forte. I do want to get to the next topic here about, by the way, great conversation, guys.
What, PlayStation's overheating? Is that it?
no, that we'll get to PlayStation here in a second, because that joker's big, but
Bill Gates?
What's that? Yeah, right.
The human torso. Let's go.
Yeah. So Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed by 27 days. The game went gold. Hey, big shout out to my man Optimus Code, though. Code went out there and said when Cyberpunk said, "Hey, the game, the game is gold. It's gone gold." And I think Code tweeted out, "Hey, don't. Hey, it doesn't mean it's done. It doesn't mean we're in the clear." He's like, "I'm trying to tell you, those are what do you say? Those are marketing terms. I forget what he said, but big shout out to Optimus Code, by the way, who woke up at 2:00 this afternoon, asked what was going on Twitter because he was taking a senior's nap."
Oh Lord, taking a senior citizen's cat nap.
He's like, "Oh, I've been busy all day. What I missed?" I'm like, "Come on, Code. You know you were asleep." Big shout out to Optimus Code, though. We love you, bro, man. Seriously, Code is family here at BRAP. But no, it's funny. Code said that, and he's like, "I told y'all when this happened." He's like, that gold is, and I'm paraphrasing. He said it's kind of like marketing talk or whatever. But so yeah, they decided to delay this game by 27 days. The new release date. I'm sorry, you're right, Forte. 21 days. New release date is December the 10th. And look, so I just want to make a just quick commentary on this delay. It sucks. It sucks, but you know what? I'd rather them delay this game and make sure it runs perfect, that this game is good when it releases on all the platforms. You know, I saw a lot of toxicity on, being set to Marcin Iwinski and Adam Badowski, and people were like saying, "We know where you live. This game better come out. We'll kill you." Just crazy shit like that, right? Yeah. Just like we come on, guys. We like that's
those passionate gamers, though, Enrique.
Yeah, that's passionate, crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just a very unfortunate. Look, I get we're all disappointed. I'm disappointed. But in the same breath, I'll say this. It gives me a little bit of time with little Miles Morales and Demon Souls. I'm okay. Like if you push these games back, I'm okay. Because now I get to focus more time in those next generation games on the PlayStation 5. So
current gen games, sir.
Oh no, that's right. I forgot about that. Go ahead,
I'm being messy. Shut up, just being messy. I'm being messy.
You are being messy. But
hey, chat, you see how these dudes was ready to pounce on me?
No. So yeah, definitely disappointed that this is happening. But again, I want to see this game run well. It sounds like. So here's the thing: it's ready on PC. Like they're saying, oh, it's PC's great. Not surprised, because PC's best place to play games. PC's ready to go. Like it's good. It sounds like they're having issues with the current gen consoles.
Yeah, those 2013 SKUs for the PlayStation and the Xbox have just, in my opinion, kind of ruined my enthusiasm for this game. A lot of the features that they've had to take out, a lot of the reasons why they've had to remove things from the game that they already showed is due to the fact that it's not going to run well on the old consoles. And so usually what ends up happening, I think, guys like Code have mentioned this before, is that it's in the later parts of development where they start to like look at the trying to get the game running on the various platforms they have to put it on. And that's when you're going to start to look at what you've been building and being like, well, okay, we might have to cut this, we might have to cut that, so that we can get this thing playable on actual old hardware, while also having it be at least some kind of modern next gen game on the brand new stuff that's coming out. And I'm not surprised the old hardware is holding it back. Me personally, I feel like, and I may be alone in this. Actually, I don't think I'm alone in this. Actually, this game is going to come out super buggy.
Oh, for sure.
Don't say
it's going to be super. Look, Witcher 3 came out super buggy, and there was no. I don't know how the development for Witcher 3 was, but this seems like, it's been all over the place. Devs have been complaining. They've been running to Jason Schreier. They've been running to Glassdoor. They've been all over the place. The guys running the studio have been telling them one thing and doing another. Things just seem really in a lot of turmoil. And when you go gold, I can't think of another time where a game has gone gold and then delayed. It's just like, when were they?
Okay, so the first time, and I actually wrote this down. Shout out to Ryan McCaffrey on Podcast Unlocked. He recently said this on his most current episode of Unlocked. The first time a game has gone gold and has been delayed was Army of Two. He said he got the code and he did a review and he gave it a 6, but then it got pushed up 6 months. So he threw that review away, and because of, I guess, some type of journalistic integrity, he gave the review to another person and they actually scored it a 5 back when, not for IGN, but I think Xbox Online or something like that.
So it went from a 6 to a 5.
Yep.
Yeah, it dropped down.
It went, okay, he reviewed it. It was a 6. It got delayed 6 months.
Yep.
The next person that reviewed it gave it an even worse score.
He said that game was garbage.
This is not helping Cyberpunk at all. Like, this is like,
okay.
What's the other one, man? Hopefully the other one did better.
Oh no, it gets worse. It gets worse. The second one.
Oh no, it gets worse.
I think it was NBA Live. That's
NBA Elite.
I don't need to hear no more. It's NBA
remember
Live.
that joint got canceled, right?
Yeah.
Look,
This is not. This ain't working. This ain't good. Like, thank you, Hustle. You just made it worse on how I feel about this game right now. Before I had a little bit of hope. Now I feel like this is about to be a dumpster fire. I'm exaggerating a little bit at least. It looks like, look, this is not a good look. And if you have a original Xbox VCR or a original base PlayStation 4, do not get this game on that. Okay,
can you say that again?
Milk your hardware. It's going to milk your hardware, or it's going to be unplayable. You're going to be looking at like invisible walls and all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you, it's not going to work.
You know what it's going to do? It's going to be like Luke Skywalker at the end of like The Last Jedi. It's going to use up all its force powers and die.
Just fade away.
Don't do it. Upgrade your console. Don't play this game on that. I'm just telling you, right? It's going to be it's going to be a bad time. And I like I said, my hype for this game has dropped after each.
Has it really?
Look.
Why? What? I mean,
a lot of the stuff I was hyped for. Okay, all right. First, look, the first thing I didn't really care for, but I was like, cool when they said it's all first person. So I was like, all right, look, okay, I don't really care. You know, they got all this customization for your character, but it's only first person. But you know, I still got the cutscenes though, so at least I can see myself in the cutscenes. Then I found they cut that too, and I'm like, it was all first person. Like, it's just. What's the purpose of customizing my character if I'm never going to see the character? So then they got like the car customization. I was like, at least I got the car stuff, right? Cut that. What? All right. At least with the car, because they showed that like that 40-minute like gameplay thing with the part where you're like you're like sticking to walls and you're like, you know, almost like a Spider-Man kind of thing where you're like hunting down an enemy and you're going up a wall. I'm like, that was cool. They cut that too. Everything that I thought was cool with the game gets cut. I'm afraid to look at anything else in the game because I feel like the very next day after I looked at it and said it was cool, it's gonna get cut. So I'm just like, I ain't gonna look at nothing else until it's out.
Hey, you know, y'all know it's getting so bad, right? It's getting so bad. They're gonna take back the Cyberpunk chairs from Alana Pierce and Paris Lily, man. It's getting bad. Listen,
we're gonna need them chairs back, man.
We had to cut the chairs. We ain't got enough.
They're going to delay that game again. I have a question for y'all. I had this question.
Whoa, wait, Hustle. You said they're going to delay it again?
They're going to delay that. Dog.
Yo, I'm with Hustle.
What highly anticipated game released in December? I don't care if it's from an indie studio. What highly anticipated game of this magnitude will release in December? That's like Rockstar dropping Grand Theft Auto in December. Like, you know that ain't gonna never happen. I know they're a AAA company and one's an indie. I know that. My point is, what game of this magnitude releases in December? I'll answer that question for you. Zero, none, zilch. It's over. They're gonna push that joint probably push you about the February or March or something. Yeah.
Wow. You know what?
I got a prediction. I'm gonna jump out the window with it.
You know what? I
can't agree with him though.
I'm with him too. I think, and I said the other day, I think it should be pushed into 2021 and drop everything with next gen updates and everything else.
You know what? I think they should.
You gonna go out on a limb on
they actually didn't they already come out and confirm that that's not. I mean, they said that before, but
yeah, exactly. You can't.
That's what I was saying. Forte, you gonna go out on that limb? And they've said a whole lot since this game has been in development. And a whole lot keeps changing and getting pushed back.
I think before they delay the game again, they'll release it on the platforms that it's ready for and delay the current gens if they have to.
Bro, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they jump down and say, guess what? This is no longer a Cyberpunk game. We're changing the whole thing now. Now it's a space adventure.
I think they're going to do that.
They're calling it Moon Racer.
They are a independent studio. And although they are well regarded, they're not made out of money. They want a return of investment on this. And so they're kind of relying on those current gen sales because that's the vast majority of the people who are going to be buying the game. The Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5 and PC, those are going to like what the PC more so than the others, but Series X and PlayStation 5 don't have a player base right now. So they want those Xbox One X and One S and PlayStation 4 sales.
But if they were going to do that, and I would agree with you guys if it wasn't like literally right after Thanksgiving and right before Christmas. But I just believe that if they were going to do that, they would have just said indefinitely on the game. They wouldn't have put another date on it if that was going to be the idea that is a chance they could delay it again.
Like they already put a date on it and they delayed it.
Yeah, but when they put a date on it the first time, I mean they delayed it by 7 months?
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, 6 months. I mean, dude, at 6 months, it's like, I mean, you got to think at that point, they even talked about why, nobody thought that the COVID would be still going on as rapid as it is going into the holiday when it started back in February, so some people did think, when they did that, they probably didn't think that was going to be a thing still.
But one of their delays was to say that the game was done. We're just polishing at this point.
Yeah. Well, they said that the game is complete. It's done. They said right now they're just having issues with some of they probably had bugs and stuff on the current gen that they have to fix out and stuff like that.
That was the talk before they even delayed it that first time. That people were saying we've heard that they're having issues with trying to get this to run on those base consoles.
Well, yeah, you're going to say bugs because if you tell people bugs, it's because they even said that the game was pretty much complete back then. They said you could play it from beginning to end. It's just coming down to, let's be for real, saying that a game has bugs and that's why you're fixing it is probably the sexiest way to say that our game isn't working right now. And we don't want to that.
So the bubble is very forgiving on bugs. They all
on bugs and stuff.
When it's a game that they really capping for and they really want, every game.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing though. I think
I'm gonna give you all my money and I'm gonna sit there and wait till you fix it.
Yeah, I think they just don't want to. This is the thing. They're already missing the biggest shopping. I mean, granted, they're in Poland, so they really aren't adhered to what goes on in the United States when it comes to our holidays and stuff. But that's the biggest shopping day in the year. They're already going to lose money on that game due to people that don't see it on the shelf, and they probably heard of the game and they would have bought it just because it's a next gen game. So they're already going to miss a bunch of sales just due to the people spending unseen amounts of money during Black Friday. So the fact that they're coming out 2 weeks before Christmas, I just think they can't miss that date. At that point, you might as well delay the game into middle of next year if that's the case, and I just don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, they can hit like late January, February. It's kind of been proven that you can hit that point.
But at that point, you might as well just wait till the game is 100. Because let's be for real, this game is going to have bugs in it. Let's be for real.
Of course.
This game isn't going to release. Like I heard everybody keep saying, like, this game better release perfect, and I'm like, this game ain't going to release perfect.
I mean, if you look at CD Projekt Red's kind of track history, like I think The Witcher 2 had some issues, Witcher 3 had issues at launch. So yeah, I agree with you, Forte. I think it's. I
think Zucker said it. He said it best on RDS. He thinks it was something that was game breaking on current gen consoles, and that's why they're delaying it.
It had to be,
it may have been. Man,
that's what he said. That's what, and I kind of believe him on that because, like, why would you delay everything for just bugs? Because they already released bugs before.
I think there was an injury. I think they tried to load it up on a base PS4, Xbox One, and it literally blew up on somebody.
Started shutting machines down.
Yeah. I think the build on the base current gen consoles is not stable, and that's why they had to delay it further. They ran into a bug that was so massive that it was like, people wouldn't even be able to complete the game with this bug in here. Or there's an issue with the current gen console when you get to a certain point where it's just like, well, this map won't even load. Or, it's just like certain things are happening that even though we went go, we gotta go delay it again to get this fixed. And it's just, what if something else pops up and it's the same issue?
Well, they can do that.
They can't walk away from it. They're locked in. They're delivering.
Yeah, they're locked in now.
Bills.
They're locked in. I just think that people don't realize, and people keep saying, "Well, why? How can they delay the game? How can they delay this game?" I say, "Well, listen, they can do it because they're their own publisher. they don't answer to nobody, so they could come out and tell you exactly why they're delaying. They could delay. Like the one thing I will agree with everybody on the panel, if they want to delay this game again, they definitely will do it. You know, I just don't think they'll do it, but they have the power to do it because they don't answer to anybody to publish their game.
Well, I don't think I think their fiscal year goes is like September, or I don't know. It's like it's
who knows? Like
they got a lot of time for that. But yeah, I think to answer initially Slow-Mo's initial point, the only times we've ever seen something go gold and then get pulled off is when there's been a fatal flaw or something that's just like this could be a career-ending injury kind of thing. So I think that's a really bad sign, and I think that would mean that it's not guaranteed if it's going to be that bad, right? Because who's to say that you're gonna get that bug in 21
no, it
days?
could be just that your game won't save at a certain point. There have been games that Nintendo games that's done that where you got to send your send in your save data for you to get it.
Yeah, right.
What game was that on Nintendo?
Can I take y'all back?
That was Metroid Other M.
Yeah, Metroid Other M. That was it. It was really a bug save.
They're like, send your Wii in.
Yeah, you send your Wii in to get them to unlock it for you to be able to get a patch to fix it.
And that really helped that IP take off, right?
I know this wasn't a Nintendo first party game, but y'all remember WWF No Mercy?
Yeah.
The big issue with that, how them saves wouldn't save and it would just crash on you all the time. Or am I the only one who went through that? Because I paid $80 for that.
I seem to remember
I don't think I ever had that issue. I played the hell out of that game.
I don't remember happening to me, but I think I remember hearing about that though.
I definitely had that issue, and I didn't know it was a thing though where you could carry that back to you can take it back to the store and they would have gave you a newer copy, but they had to put out another cartridge version of that because that game went through bad. It was bad. It was like I can only play it for a certain amount of time, and I tried to save it because you save it on the card or whatever, you'd be straight, and it would always delete. Like always. Now I didn't know at that time. I was 11, 12 years old. I wasn't so old, but I didn't know that you can take that back to GameStop. That was actually in an article from Game Informer, I do believe, at some point. But yeah, no, that was the thing too. All right, look, Cyberpunk, man, I'm super excited for it. Me and who was that? The Grounded Game of Fonzarelli, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did Dave Fonz. We did different content on it, man. I'm still anticipating it, buying it day one. Definitely gonna buy it day one on PC. On PC though.
Yes, it's best place to play.
Man, look. Oh man, it's gonna be bad. Man. I hope it don't, but I think it's gonna get delayed again. And Slow-Mo, I'm sorry, Forte, you had said something I didn't know. They don't answer to anybody, so of course I got them pushing it back. I just got them pushing it back.
Don't say that, bro.
Well, yeah, when you only release a game once. When you only release a game once every 5-7 years, whatever it is, you don't. I don't know that a few months makes a huge difference, unless it's going to affect their bonuses for this year or something. That's all. But other than that,
and not that they care about their devs' bonuses in the first place, so it's not like that's a priority for them.
Hey, can I also mention this too?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
This might actually lend some type of credence because y'all remember it was like the crunch thing, crunch this, crunch that.
Yep.
Now in Poland is where they are correct. Now, apparently, the overtime hours is just you can only work 8 extra hours overtime, from what I understand. So that actually might be true, and people wasn't pulling those hectic hours the way
they found a way around Polish law when it comes to labor law. Yes, it was detailed.
Shicey.
What they did is they hired their same full-time employees on as contractors in a separate contract and have them technically working weekends, which then allows them to do an additional 16 hours a week or something like that. So that's why they have been, because they've been crunching well before.
Do they get extra money for those contracts?
That's correct. I mean, typically when
they get paid.
They made all their employees get 2 IDs.
Silly enough to sign another contract to say that you're gonna work more. That's on you.
Yo, they got a blue badge and a green badge. That's crazy. Oh my God!
I'll take that extra money.
Wow.
I'm still buying that. I don't care.
Money is not a substitute for lack of sleep.
Sir, whose fault is that if you sign a contract? We gonna go back into that.
Are we gonna go back into you pretending like people can just up and leave their job and get another job the very next day?
Are you gonna sign that contract?
Are you going to answer my question?
Are you going to answer my question? Are you going to sign? If that was you, are you going to sign that contract?
I don't know. I'm not in that situation.
No. Yes or no?
I just said I don't know. I'm not in that situation. When you give you an answer,
you want to act like people. You want to act like you know people in the situation by talking like you talk. Are you going to sign a contract?
I did not say that. What I said was you're pretending like people who, and we all do know this, that you can't just up and leave your job without a plan. So if someone presents you in a situation was like, here, sign this contract, you're doing more overtime.
So do we think that they can't
in that moment you don't have a plan ready to go somewhere else. You don't have a plan ready to go to a different studio working within your industry. People got to stop with this whole if you don't like it, then I'm still talking. If people got to stop with this whole if you don't like it, then go somewhere else, do something else.
I didn't say that.
People never actually think in detail and context of how that works. If you got a family, if you got people relying on you, if you can't go 2 weeks without not having a paycheck, like people can't just up and leave their jobs. That's not realistic.
So have you ever tried
acting like just because you would take that money because you would love to be working in that industry? You actually use yourself as an example. So
that they went to them and told them that they can't, that if they don't sign this contract, they don't got a job. That's what you're insinuating, basically. Is that what you're saying?
That's what it sounds like, though, Forte.
But that's what Slow-Mo was saying. That they're basically saying if you don't sign this contract, saying that if you don't work this overtime, you ain't got a job. Is that what we're saying?
Okay, if they don't do that, what's going to happen?
No. Just ask, is that what you're saying they're doing?
I would love to
pretty
see
much, yeah. I mean, look, if you don't, not only that, but you're going to get blackballed because out of your resume, you've been working years on this game. You try to go to a different studio working on a different game. What are you going to put in your resume?
Well, I'm done.
The last thing you worked on. What's the last thing you worked on? Oh, well, I mean. I didn't want to work the overtime to another studio that does essentially the same kind of thing to their employees. They're not going to pick you up. So it's just like you either do that or you just get up out of the gaming industry.
Listen, I'm with you. If you are coming from the avenue that they are basically telling these people that, hey, if you don't sign this contract, we gonna find somebody else that will sign it that's gonna do the same thing that you ain't doing. I'm 100% with you. That's dirty as hell. Because but that's the only way I feel. Because if you are signing contracts to basically want to work more hours, that's on you. But if they forcing you to do it and telling you can't we'll find somebody else, then I'm going to sign the contract just because I need to keep my job. I agree with that 100%. I just don't think that's
exactly what happens because there is a long line of people who would love to work in this industry, which is the reason why they treat their employees the way they do, because you're disposable. If you don't like it, I can go get someone else to do your job. We got Q&A, and there's nothing wrong with Q&A because I know there's some people who do Q&A. There's some of them in the chat, and I don't want them thinking that I'm down in Q&A people, but quality assurance people who have like degrees, who are programmers and graphic designers and people who have skill sets outside of just Q&A and would love to take your job. Can't wait for one of y'all to quit so they can slide up in there and get up out of Q&A.
And they're all willing to take the same risk that you're taking, and that's part of the.
That's why nothing ever changes. And so, if we go back to like the whole labor, they circumventing Polish labor laws, and they found the loophole. Mm-hmm. It's like just because they getting paid doesn't mean it's good, and which is reason why like the average work career span of employees in this industry is really short because people just can't deal and they end up leaving.
I think that's the biggest difference why you hear such conflicting arguments between people that this has happened to, like the people that have left the job or got fired or something like that. And had bad experiences. They're always the ones that come out and talked about how toxic it was, how mismanaged certain things were. But then you got the people on the other side that say, I don't know what this person's talking about. It's not perfect, but this is what we signed up for. But those are the people that believe this can't happen to them. That's the one thing that these developers don't realize everybody feels like they're safe until they're not safe. And you have to kind of know in any business you go into, especially a cutthroat one like this, where you are easily replaceable. You got to realize that, hey, when you go into it, there's a chance that you're going to probably be asked to work super long hours. And if you're not willing to do it, somebody else is going to do it. Now, I'm not saying that's a right way to do it, but that's kind of what you sign up for when you go into that industry. And you can't go into these industries thinking that ain't going to happen. Because if you go into it thinking that way, you're going to be highly disappointed at the end of it.
Yeah.
Real quick, did you guys see Jay? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead, Slow-Mo, and or not Slow-Mo, I'm sorry, OBM. And then I want to.
God damn, Slow-Mo Forte.
I was going to ask you if you saw Jason Schreier's tweet on that yesterday. He said CDPR dev told him recently that they just clocked in 100-hour work week, and he said another former dev just told him he saw some of his friends there and they looked physically ill. So he's just telling this guy to get the fuck out of here with the but I work long hours.
They can hear their being physically ill with all the money they're making. Just all they gotta do is take the money and just rub it all over their face and they'll be fine. Right. Apparently.
But and that's a question for anybody. Has anybody ever tried working 100-hour weeks or even like 80+ hour weeks? Because I actually was in a situation once.
I did it before.
And try to look for a job, but try to look for a job where you fucking have you're having to struggle to sleep because you're overtired and
it's almost impossible.
Hold on. I must be the exception to the rule because I definitely did both. I was the reason why I'm so heavy on crunch or like against it, right?
Yeah.
Is because I used to work security and I was a supervisor. So when no one came in, I had to stay there or else I would have lost my job. I definitely the current job that I work now, I found then when I was going through that 22-hour day. I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember going in doing the SF86, and without me going too much into detail about what I do, I definitely did it while I was there. I definitely slept while I was there too. But like for them to go through what they go through, you gotta find a way to make a way to find something else. And then in the gaming industry, like this is all too common in terms of crunch. Do they unionize where they are?
No, they can't unionize. They've been trying to unionize, but like you can. It's difficult to create a union when the supply far exceeds demand. So it's just like there's so many people who will take your position. And they don't care about unionizing. They just want to get their foot in the door, and they want to be able to do what you're doing.
Wait, hold on. Hey, we got someone in the live chat. Please don't lob insults at Jason Schreier like that. Very inappropriate.
Yikes.
All right, yeah, we gonna need to. Yeah, we don't need that kind of talk here. Yeah, seriously. Like, we can just nip that in the bud right now.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything.
We don't do that here.
Yeah,
we don't do that here. Yeah. Well, sorry. So wow.
I mean, look, I'll speak for myself. I used to work before I made my career change to start working in IT. I used to work for a rental car company. I'm not going to name which one.
I know which one.
Don't start like I know which start one. Naming rental car company. I'm not going to talk about which one it is.
It's the one everyone.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. They all work their employees to dust the exact same way. I worked literally on average 80 to 85 hours a week, and I only got paid for 40 because I was a manager and I was salary.
Right. So the average
and they tried to justify that. They tried to justify that as, hey, Slow-Mo, but we get you a car though. You got a free car to drive home, and you don't have to pay for gas. And you have to pay for a car note and insurance and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but none of that equals up the hours that I'm working. Like, what are you talking about? So, like they try to convince you that, hey, look, we're doing all this. Like, this is the justification. It's not. So, like, I remember looking for another job and also trying to study at that time for what I already wanted to do. I wanted to get into IT and trying to study while working 80-hour weeks, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was difficult because I'm too exhausted and tired with a family and kids. To go, when I'm going home, I'm trying to be a father as a husband as well as doing
leave me alone, heathens.
Yeah. Like when
Trying to
do
study.
you have time to study? It's just you don't. And so like it's just not.
Slow-mo, were you like, no, baby, I'm tired?
Oh no, I was never too tired for that.
Okay.
That's why I got 3 kids.
You just walked over to the couch.
I got to a point where I was too tired for that, but there were some other reasons too. So, anyways, keep going.
But
It's just like people don't. I think some people are very dismissive of the people in this industry, and they think it's a 1-to-1 comparison. I understand other people have worked long hours as well, but if you don't work in this industry and know what this kind of work is, like it may not be you physically out here like doing construction or anything like that, or physically exhausting, but the mental exhaustion of I shied away from programming intentionally because I just knew I could not be the kind of person that would sit at a desk at a computer and do code 8 hours straight. Not me. No way I'm doing that. I can't do it. And to think that like that's just your average, average job, to do more than that, to be working, well beyond those kind of hours. I'm good. That's that mental exhaustion, and what it doesn't do overall for the project is that, and this goes overall, like all these issues go down to really what I've seen, and it doesn't matter about this industry. It goes for all industries. People get promoted, and they don't get promoted because they are great managers. They got promoted because they were good at doing something completely different, and they were excellent at it. And the bad mistake they make is they promote these people into director roles, management roles that they're not equipped for. It's a real skill set to manage people.
Yeah,
to manage expectations and be a good project manager. None of these people are good project managers. They were great programmers, great graphic designers, great game designers, and then they got promoted because of that, but they got no skill set for what they're doing now, which is why as directors, they're messing up, they make mistakes, and all they do is they work their people harder to cover it.
Yeah.
But if they actually planned it better in the beginning, it wouldn't end that way. And I've seen it in every single industry that I've worked in. And it's always due to the manager being absolutely trash at doing their job.
Well, and you know what's evidence of that, Slow-mo, is just the fact that they went gold and delayed a game by a month. I mean, that you don't do that unless you have management issues. Like that's about as blatant a mismanagement right there. And so if they're mismanaging that, then like what you that's just what we're seeing. So you have to assume that there's some poor project management there. And I mean, having people put in 100 hours on, on a game that's been in development 7 years is just something is amiss there. And it was either they scoped it wrong, because I hear people say like, development's hard and everything. I agree with that, but anytime you put together a project and you're a leader, you have to make sure that you have the capacity for whatever it is. However you scope that project, you got to make sure that's planned out right. And so they obviously messed up on that, and that's obvious by shit getting canceled last second, like you were talking about. So it's managed. Definitely, it's a game I'm super excited about, but I think there's a lot of reason to be concerned because it looks like it's not being run very well right now.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Great points, by the way. I do want to pivot to the last topic of the evening, and it relates to the PlayStation 5 unboxing that's been happening.
Hey, Enrique, you don't want to touch on the Chris Lee leaving 343?
Oh, y'all got it right.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, let's talk about that.
Man, do we really got to talk about 343 again?
So,
they just lost another director.
But we already knew this game was in trouble.
So, speaking of games that are in trouble with mismanagement, here we are, Chris Lee, another lead
Great
director.
Transmission.
Lead director for Halo Infinite. I got to tell you guys, I don't think this game's going to turn out well. I just don't. I hope it does. I'm not wishing ill will on the development team. I hope this game turns the corner. I don't know. I keep feeling. I get those Anthem vibes. I can't shake it. I get those Anthem vibes because of everything that's
It's
happening.
very similar. I mean, like you got multiple directors getting replaced. It also did you notice the same thing they did to Tim Longo? They did to Chris Lee, where he essentially got demoted, but they didn't actually demote him. He still had the same job title. He just lost all his duties, and so it's kind of like, hey, just sit there at your desk. Don't do anything. And anyone who got any self-respect is just going to go find themselves a new job, which is essentially what Tim Longo, the previous creative director, did. Is what Chris Lee is now doing. And I mean, look, every time we've seen this kind of scenario happen where you got multiple directors, very, very little time, like very few opportunities, as it turns out, fairly well. Like the only one I can think of that turned out somewhat okay is Uncharted 4. When they went from Amy Hennig to Neil Druckmann.
True. But that was only one change, though. Like that was
and that's that's only one change, and still a lot of the long-time Uncharted fans don't like Uncharted 4. I thought it was a cool game. I liked it, but a lot of people didn't like it, and so it's like it's one of the weaker ones in the franchise, and it had this issue, like to go through multiple ones. What happened with Anthem? Like we mentioned, Anthem. They had a creative director who was just spinning his wheels for 4 years. They put Mark Dara in his position, but didn't give Mark Dara the title and just let dude just sit over there staring at the wall for 2 years while Mark Dara finally got the game ready for launch. Like this isn't a good look. Now I'm thinking probably Joseph Staten is probably the guy who's running the game now, and he literally got there 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
What did we say a few months ago? I mean, let's take it back to when this game was shown, and we said, "Yo, something ain't right.
Yeah,
something don't look right." I mean, up to this point, people throwing out COVID and this and that. And I remember people saying, like, you're not a real fan. That look fire. And I'm like, yo, I don't know what y'all looking at. Right. And I said, so but what do we say when they first mentioned that statement was coming back in? You said we would not be surprised if more changes happen, and I'm still wouldn't be surprised if even more changes happen after this, because it sounds like they need to break it down to the foundation to rebuild the house. And we've said from jump, we said, when it comes to 343 and the Halo games, they've been hit or miss. They hit it with the multiplayer on one, they missed it with the campaign on the other. And I know Forte's feeling the same way. It's like, when have they really truly put their stamp on it? And it's like, it's looking shaky.
Yeah, it seems like part of the problem, based off of some of the Glassdoor reviews that came out and the things that were detailed, is that there isn't a lot of carryover from the previous games to the next games, because they rely so heavily on contractors. And so you're not really dealing with the same skill sets of this game, same people. And one, they don't really have that feeling of we're 343. We got, or this is Halo. We're the Halo team. We gotta make sure this is like, no, I'm a contractor. I'm already looking at the next thing. I want this on my resume so I can go somewhere else, and then maybe I'll catch on and be more than a contractor there. And it's unfortunate, because like I so want Halo to be the great Halo that it once was, and it's like I busy saying in the chat, like, this is Bonnie's fault. This has to fall on her head, and I'm not trying to go at her, but it's just like this is a failure of leadership, but this is the culture of the studio, and this is how things are, and people are really upset. It's you've been in massive crunch for over a year now. The crunch is not going to end anytime soon, because you had to delay the game into next year. You don't even have a date or even a season next year where it's coming out. You lost your creative director again. This is your third one that you lost. You got a new guy in who knows Halo, because he's influential in it. The guy who wrote the majority of the Halo lore and storylines out there. He's great for the campaign, but there's so much work that has to be done. Like, it's not just writing a story, it's not just writing a book. It's actually doing the cutscenes and the lines of dialogue and the voiceovers from the voice acting, and changing levels and writing new stuff and creating new things. Like, this is it's going to be a massive undertaking to change the campaign, which seems to be, if you look at a lot of the hints here, the campaign seems to be the major issue. It's not just that visually it didn't look good, because like me and Forte said, like we watched it was like, yo, they got the gunplay down. The gunplay's cool, but it's like, all right, visually it don't look next gen. That's part of it, but that's not the full. Like you don't bring in Joseph Staten to fix visuals, because that's not what he does. He's a writer. He don't change like the graphics or the engine or anything like that. You don't bring in another guy for the multiplayer to fix the way the game looks. They got way more issues than just the game looks, flat with no draw distance and pop up everywhere. It's a whole bunch of other issues going on.
Well, to your point, I don't know if any of you guys actually heard this interview, but like Josh Holmes, when he left 343, he did he was on somebody's podcast when he started.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that.
No, it's been a while. It was like at a small podcast. I can't even remember. I could not find it. I was trying to look for it actually. And he had just started up his new studio, and he talked about being at 343. And he didn't like directly throw anybody under the bus, but what he did say is that basically for Halo 4 and 5, half the development process was them having creative differences, and really basically, those 3-year development is really like a year and a half of development. It was another year and a half of fighting, and he kind of alluded to the fact that they had, it's a studio that was started with people that didn't necessarily all love Halo because they were trying to reinvent Halo, and I think they've been trying to dig themselves out of that and get on the same page ever since. But I think the issue right now is the campaign. Most of the rumors seem to allude to that. Max, I don't know if you guys know who Max Hoberman is. His team's doing the multiplayer. I think they know what I have confidence that the multiplayer is going to be good again. But to your point, it's the fact that Staten's in there. It's like it never really made sense. Like, why are you bringing in the story and campaign guy if you're only having technical issues that you need to finish? So I think it is something that's bigger from a creative level that they need to redo.
So I'm gonna take a different approach, because you guys already know how I feel about 343 and how the situation has played itself out. I'm not going to blame 343.
They're your favorite studio, right?
We're not gonna go there. 343 had the biggest thing is they showed a competency of being able to give you a great looking game, and they failed on the front when it came to the announcement and release of this game. Well, not even release, of showing off this game. A lot of people were taken back by that. So the one thing they were really good at, they failed in. The problem is, as much as I do blame leadership at 343 for this, this is probably going to be the more unpopular opinion, I blame Microsoft. I blame Xbox for this. I blame Phil Spencer for this. I blame Matt Booty for this. Phil Spencer was head of Xbox before he got promoted to VP. He did he not know about all the turmoil and everything that was going on when it came to development of this game ever since 2015 when they announced it and moving it over to Slipspace? Matt Booty has never walked into that studio to see exactly what this game was looking like over the course of the last 2 years that he's been running Xbox Game Studios. That's where that's where ultimately the problem not falls, but it is magnified by that.
That's their approach now. That's their approach with all their studios.
That is their approach,
hands off.
Exactly, hands off. But like you always said, Slow-Mo, some people you could be hands off. Some people need tender loving care. Right. And when you're talking about a $5 billion franchise, I think I would want to know all the intricacy and moving parts that's happening with this game. Especially if the development house like 343 has had issues giving me a complete product. You tried to do something outside of the box thinking when it comes to the Master Chief Collection, a collection of games that worked flawlessly on their own merit individually, and tried to do something different. And I applaud them for doing that. I think they took a risk in trying to do it, and it blew up in their face. And I don't fault them for that, because they tried something new, but that was not a good look for them. And then over the course of that game's the maturation of putting that on different platforms, we heard problems with it even on the PC platform up until recently. Not recently, but up until they started releasing it on Steam when it works perfectly fine now. But that still doesn't change the fact that it's always something with this development house when it comes to Halo. And a lot of people try to say, well, 343 is okay. They're going to be all right. People give them a pass because they run Halo. But I'm going to ask people, do you think they deserve to run Halo? Did they earn the respect of everybody in the Xbox community to say that you are in charge of the biggest franchise of this console? No. They have done some things well. They have done things that a lot of people will inherit them and say, yo, that was a great job. But overall, are we going to give them a passing grade for the things that the way they handled Halo? At this point, they had Halo in their stewardship longer than Bungie has had it. And that's
a lot of people said this was their shot for it.
Well, I've been told you this was their last shot.
This was their last one. And it's not looking good.
I told people
and they can't even get the game out.
Yeah, and I told everybody I love Halo. And as much as I give 343 crap, I believe that they can give us a great Halo game, but with every passing moment, it just seems like that becomes more of a distant thought. Mm-hmm. And I also just think Microsoft and Xbox put way too much of their future with this brand new console into Halo. And now they're starting to see that not pay out for them because they had to delay the game. They got a lot of leadership changing that's going to happen. And Bonnie Ross is probably going to have to bite the dust for this one, even knowing if Xbox themselves was more involved in the process of making sure this game was on schedule and on track and giving them everything they felt like they needed. I think this could have been very much avoided. But it is what it is. Microsoft got to make moves now. They can't just sit down and let this game fix itself, because if this game doesn't come out next year, when is this game going to come out? At a certain point, it's like you kind of don't even want to talk about Halo because you got a brand new system launching. You don't want people to remember that Halo was supposed to be a launch title for this brand new system coming out. So they kind of want this information to die, but they're going to have to do something about what's going on at 343. And there's a lot more going on than people think, but I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed in the direction.
It's kind of hard for them to get away from that, though, because their whole marketing right now is around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got
the Taco Bell promotion is all around Halo.
Well, you got Monster tweeting out, weapon skins for a game that's not even coming out.
Well, just to give a little bit of hope, the one thing I would mention about Halo, I think we've heard from Spencer already, says that they need to get this right. So I think the worst case scenario is the campaign's going to be a long ways off, and you're going to have Stanton probably lead this thing.
Don't you say they're going to release this thing separately?
They better not.
They better not do that.
I tell you what they're going to do.
They talked about again.
It's going to be a quote unquote flighting, multiplayer flighting. Going to be one of the most robust flighting programs you've ever seen.
Oh, you talking about it's going to be a beta of the flight that's going to always be here?
That's going to be like a 1 year beta fighting. It's going to be like PUBG, kind of we're releasing this game, but we're going to pretend like it doesn't count if there's anything wrong. So it's,
God, don't do this.
But what I guess what I was saying is the thing that makes it different than something like an Anthem is that Halo does have a sandbox that freaking works. It's like it's really hard to fuck that sandbox up, unless you're doing something, really outlandish. And what they showed, like at that July playable demo, it does look like it's mostly back to basics. A couple other tweaks to that, but I think with the right leadership, it could be good. It's just going to take time, right? So if Stanton's the guy in charge now, I think you can have belief that it's still going to turn out, but I would not say that you should have a belief that it's going to turn out and be out in 5 months. So that's where I would.
The game ain't coming out next year.
No, I mean it's probably going to be a while in the campaign. I'm thinking that.
I still feel they would have tried to push it this year if people didn't get real vocal about it.
Right.
Because I think
it was. Yeah, I agree with you. E. Go ahead.
No. I mean, because I was gonna say, because if they would have done what they usually do and listened to some of their vocal fan base who were saying they look fine and I can't wait to play it. Great job. And I'm like, again, I don't know what the hell y'all looking at, but if they would have listened to them, they would have went ahead and tried it. Well, why not? Because they keep because a lot of companies, not just Microsoft, but a lot of devs in general, when people want a cap, that's what they say. Like, well, put it out, and then they have time that they can fix it over a year. Every game comes out, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think the reason that they were still willing to show, because they had to show something, but I think a part of them was definitely prepared to go ahead and release it and work on it.
Yeah, I agree with E, and I would say I would propose that what happened, and is very similar to what Forte was saying, is that they weren't paying attention to 343. They got this hands-off, quote unquote, limited integrations strategy where they don't like really focus and they let the studios be their own little fiefdoms. And this issue with the culture at 343 and how they do business, it festered until it got to the point where it is what it is. And if people didn't complain about the gameplay reveal, they would not have paid attention and started to look in depth at what's going on at 343 and seeing, wait a minute. So like, because like if you go back to what Phil did with the ESA, and the ESA is what runs E3. Phil, when their director of the ESA was going around acting like a dictator and a complete insane person at work, Phil flew out to DC, went there and started interviewing individual workers who probably had never talked to anyone in the industry to find out what was going on there. He went back to the board. They got that dude up out of there. Phil seems to be the kind of guy that when it gets on his radar, he's not going to talk to Bonnie about it. He's going to talk to everyone else. And everyone else are the people that are telling you, this campaign is trash. This campaign don't make no sense. We got all these other issues. And they're like, oh, delay. Delay. And so now it's like on the radar of we got to fix Halo. We got to fix this. And now Bonnie is in trouble because they gave you the opportunity to run your house. And now that it's not running well, now you're under the microscope.
Yeah, and I want to. Okay, so $5 super chat by Victor Alistine. Thank you, sir. Forte, I disagree. Bonnie's role as corporate vice president at Xbox Game Studios made it hard for her to monitor 343. Can't blame Nadella for the department's failure. First of all, we're not blaming Nadella. Nadella ain't got nothing to do with this. He already tried to take the axe to Xbox when it came to Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer had to come in and say, "Yo, wait a minute. Let me fix this." And it looks like Phil Spencer changed his mind because Satya Nadella is 100% in on gaming now. So Nadella has never been a problem. Saying Bonnie Ross just because she's VP of Game Studios, dude, her name is at the very top of 343. Just because you got a dual role don't mean that you don't have a lot of things to go on when it comes to the way that you run that house. Even if you're appointing people to do it while you're not there, you are responsible for what they do and what they don't do, and that all falls on her because guess what? Her name is on the first. She's the head. That's it. There's nothing. No one can say anything else about Bonnie being the head. And the only reason I say Microsoft is because Phil Spencer was head of Xbox. Matt Booty's head of Xbox now. Just like Slomo's been saying, this whole hands-off approach, that was kind of the problem. They just basically took way too long to identify the problem until it was too late. And Bonnie Ross is at the very forefront of that because she knew exactly what was going on at the development house because her name's on the front door.
Well, Bonnie's the GM, and basically she's hired two coaches that have struggled. So I think that's kind of how I look at it.
Yep, and that falls on her.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at all if, like, and I said this before, that in a year or two, like Joseph Staten is running the studio.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Bonnie's going to live to fight another day. I truly do. I truly do. I just think she's going to live to fight another day because ultimately she does have a higher role inside the company. I just think that it might come out that she may not be running 343, but she'll still be there at Microsoft. I mean, Shannon Loftus is still there.
Yeah, they might.
They just moved Shannon Loftus off of stuff, but she's still there.
But I mean, Shannon Loftus is running World's Edge now.
Yeah. She's still there though.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's we're a little bit after the 11 o'clock hour. I did want to talk about the PlayStation unboxing real quick. PlayStation 5s are out. one thing that kind of just, at least for me, kind of stood out to me, the size of that console's the console's big.
Is it bigger than your thumb?
We got another super chat, Enrique.
Oh, okay. Let me get that super chat real quick. Hold on a sec here.
Somebody paying that color. Let's go.
Yeah, Victor.
Let me read it. Victor Alistine, $5 super chat. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for putting the color. You know, this is what we talking about on BRAP. If you disagree with the panel, if you want your question heard loud and clear, do what Victor Alistine's doing. Nah, Forte. I meant Bonnie's role made it hard for Booty to monitor her. He held a huge role over the studio. She doesn't get the blame. Okay, I will give you that. You know, it does muddy the waters, the fact that, you know, when it comes to Booty, that's true. I will give you that. So when it comes to Booty, I will get, because he expects her to be able to run her own ship. But I still go under the same thought process that you still, it comes down to him to still do checks and balances. Just because you put somebody in charge of something doesn't mean you just let them run amok. Ultimately, it comes down to what is the word that they always say in sales? I forget what the word, but I'm not even going to try to find out what it is. But when you put people in certain positions, you have to make sure, check but verify, trust but verify. That's it. Trust in the process, but verify everything that comes out of there. Because guess what? If you do that, you'll never have a problem.
Yeah. Thank you for that super chat, Victor. But yeah, real quick, guys, do need to wrap up the show. Hustle's got to go. Again, PlayStation 5s are out in the wild. And I'll say this before we wrap up. I think the one thing that kind of stood out to me is some of the feedback that people have been putting out about regards to the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers feeling more next gen than graphical improvements they've seen. I thought that was pretty interesting. But again, I want to give a big shout out to because we do have to wrap up. I know he's got to go, but I want to give a big shout out to Hustle Motivate for hanging out with us this evening. Hustle. Please let everyone know where they can find you, sir.
Hey, Twitter and YouTube, Hustle and Motivate. Catch me every Saturday on the Ash and Lucas channel with the Scumcast with oh my god, my fault, y'all. With Gaming Forte and Slow Mo Backslap. I'm sorry, my fault. I'm
best podcast on a Saturday.
Thank you, sir. I'm delirious.
Go ahead, bro. We got you. We got you.
He's got to get up early. So,
ladies and gentlemen, his name is Hustle and Motivate. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter at Hustle and Motivate. The Motivate is at 8. Follow him over there. He does live streams on YouTube. He also has a Twitter page. Shout him out over there. Make sure you find him on the Ash and Luca with Scumcast with him and my boy Slow-Mo Backslap right here. And he's also a part of the Yike Squad with Eric Cuts for the Win. So you can definitely check him out when he's over there and she's doing streaming. So you can check him out on all the different places he's at. So thanks for coming through, Hustles. We really appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you again, man. I got to get you back on again soon. No worries, man. Big shout out to and a big thank you to One Bad Mother, OBM. Thank you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me once again, BRAP. And now I actually have a Twitter. I started 2 weeks ago, so I think I have like 30 followers or something. That maybe not even that. So yeah, you can now find me at One Bad Mother at mother_1. I also help out the Xbox Era website. We've had a Halo podcast going bi-weekly. So today's final topic or second to last topic was a good interlude to that, which will be out again next week. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on again. It's always a good time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then we got Slow-Mo Backslap, who's part of him and Forte, part of the DPS podcast tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Slow-Mo, let everyone know they can find you, sir.
Yeah, just what you said. DPS podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel this week. We're gonna be talking about some of the topics that we talked about today, but some other stuff that's been going on, especially some things with like AMD out here trying to throw right hooks at NVIDIA, as well as some other stuff. Hey, look! I'm still skeptical. I'm gonna remain skeptical though. I see some independent benchmark testing going on. These companies kind of sus. They be saying some things that they don't always turn out the way they say. But look, we're gonna get into it tomorrow. It's gonna be the usual. Forte saying stuff incorrectly, me correcting him, what he's trying to say versus what he actually said. Trying to get words down like introduction and not intercourse, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Inches and centimeters.
Yeah.
But we have a good time. So come check us out. Also, check out as we all mentioned before, Scumcast Saturdays 4 p.m. Eastern, as well as my own channel. I got videos coming out tomorrow as well as Friday too. So yeah.
No doubt. Please check those gentlemen out and Hustle and Motivate as well. And Forte. Oh, by the way, I dropped a gift code in the live chat. So
I missed it.
Yeah, somebody have at it. It's for a PlayStation 4 gift card. So enjoy. But Forte, as always, a pleasure, sir. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yo, Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live. Still not a cool on PlayStation because don't want to lose my games. But great show, man. Always a great show. You can check me out at my channel, Gaming Forte. You can also check me out on Slow-Mo's channel tomorrow, like he just said, for DPS Podcast. Don't know what the hell he's talking about because we're probably going to have technical difficulty and the show's not going to start for 20 minutes after. So, because of problems.
Gosh, I'm using StreamYard now like the easy mode. So don't want to hear any of that.
Well, only Slow-Mo will still have problems with StreamYards, but I digress on that. But yeah.
I don't have a problem with screaming. You know what? Just say your places, the 5,000 podcasts you're gonna be on this week and keep it.
I'm only on 2 podcasts, sir.
Huh?
I'm only on 2.
This week?
Yeah.
Oh, this week he's only on 2.
Oh, wait. So, didn't you do Breakfast with Boom? I mean, I'm sorry, not Breakfast with Boom. The prime time with Boom. Yeah. You did. Okay, that's 1. You did this one. That's 2.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is 3.
Who said I'm gonna be there tomorrow?
Okay, you're gonna be there tomorrow.
I'm just saying. Who said I'm gonna be? I said right now.
You just said you were going to be there. I said 2 minutes ago.
Okay, so 3.
So 3. Crossfire.
Who said?
He gonna be at Crossfire. Look, that's 4 podcasts.
All right, man. Check me. Yeah, Crossfire Thursday, Friday nights, 7 p.m. Breakfast with Boom Mondays, 9 p.m. These times it's getting confusing at this point. Though I'm gonna let us get up out of here. I'm gonna turn it over to E. Tell everybody where you can find them at, brother.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, EC Jackson with an X. And when I'm out here, Saturday night, 8:00 on the Gaming Perspective podcast.
Best show on the internet.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Yeah, it is a great show. Everyone in the live chat, thank you for hanging out with us. Hopefully somebody got the PlayStation 4 code.
I'm trying to put the code in now.
Where can they find you at, Enrique?
They can find me at here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Is that the only place they can find you at?
And at BRAP_podcast.
Thank you. Got to promote yourself, brother.
Yes.
Hey, you got to tell them to like your show so that you guys don't.
Hit the like button. 143 people, 65 likes.
Hit that like button. All right. On that note, we're out. Everyone, enjoy the rest of the week. Happy Halloween. All that good stuff. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Can one of y'all be nice enough to say thank you to Enrique for the PlayStation code instead of just taking it and just going on about business? I mean, I went through all the effort to turn on my PlayStation and trying to, check. Yeah, I wasn't trying to redeem it. I just wanted to check and see who did. Okay, good.
Good night, everyone.